Let's take a look at how Smash Bros became a small project by two men to becoming the biggest fighting game of all time. In 1996, Satoru Iwata and Masahiro Sakurai, the creators of Kirby, began developing a fighting game prototype. Iwata programmed the game while Sakurai worked on the modeling, design, and movement of characters for the game. Iwata was focused most of his time on another big game, so he didn't have much time to work on the prototype. Iwata states, "I didn't have any time during the week, and I had to program on the weekends." Sakurai has said that when Iwata could program for the game, he would spring to life. There was true passion behind this project. Sakurai and Iwata planned for the game to be a 4-player battle royale, where 4 players fight on one stage to see who can knock others off to become the winner. Iwata and Sakurai named the prototype Kakatsu Gimu Ryo, or Dragon King, the fighting game. They didn't have the rights for any Nintendo characters yet, but Sakurai knew he needed Nintendo characters for the game. Iwata talked to Miyamoto about using Nintendo characters, but Miyamoto was hesitant, so Sakurai showed a working prototype of the game with Mario, Donkey Kong, Samus, and Fox to the creator of Mario, Zelda, and other series, Shigeru Miyamoto. Miyamoto was impressed and let Iwata and Sakurai use the characters they wanted to. Sakurai and Iwata made Smash Bros. Easy and new player friendly, to let new players get into a new fighting game. Because before this, all other fighting games were hardcore and anti-casual, and this didn't appeal to Sakurai's design philosophy. Sakurai wanted his games to be easy to pick up and learn. He didn't like hard to learn controls, so he put only 2 normal attacks in the game, 1 light, 1 heavy. And if you used a normal attack and held one of the 4 directions on the D-pad, it would do a special move in that direction. In 1999, Smash Bros. Was released, becoming one of the highest selling Nintendo 64 games. It released with 12 iconic Nintendo characters: Mario, Donkey Kong, Link, Samus, Yoshi, Kirby, Fox, Pikachu, Luigi, Captain Falcon, Ness, and Jigglypuff. This game also scaled up its team compared to the prototype. The game's intro is pointing towards the characters being toys and figures in a kid's bedroom. They become trophy statues in later entries. After the intro cutscene, you're thrown into a very basic menu. You could fight CPUs or against real players if you have a second controller. There's not much to this game compared to the later installments. There's a 1-player mode where you can fight enemies who are modified, or there might be a certain challenge like fight 20 Yoshis. They're just random challenge fights. If you beat all of these challenges, you could challenge Master Hand, which is pretty cool. Your character gets put on the kid's bedroom shelf after beating Master Hand, and you can hear the kid close his door. This feels weirdly powerful to me for some reason. Smash Bros. Became a staple after this game's success. It was an easy to pick up fighting game with iconic characters. So soon after this, a sequel was being produced for the Nintendo GameCube, released in 2001. Melee was officially revealed at E3 2001. Just 7 months before the game's release in North America, Iwata stepped down and Sakurai became the sole leader, with Miyamoto being a co-producer. The game was named Super Smash Bros. Melee. This game's development took 13 months, which is an incredibly short development time. Usually it would be about 3 years for a new game, but for this 13 months, Sakurai called his life destructive. He didn't take breaks and would work all the hours on the clock developing this game. This game was such a big improvement compared to the original, it's shocking. The character count was doubled, the stage count was doubled, the game was sharper, smoother, and more fluent. Compared to the original, everything was made better in such a small time frame. This game is now known for the competitive scene. This game was perfect for competitive play in big tournaments, would pop up just a few months after the game's release. This game still thrives today, 20 years later. Now, to Super Smash Bros. Brawl. This game came out 7 years after Melee. Sakurai still led the development team of this title. Produced for the Wii, I feel like this is the most hated and loved game in the series at the same time. A lot of the Melee players were more hardcore since that game was fast and fluent and good for competitive play, while Brawl was slower and more noob friendly. Brawl was announced at E3 2005 by Iwata. He announced the game before it was even being developed, because a lot of Wii owners were asking for a new Smash Bros. Game now that online play was a thing. So after the show, he asked Sakurai to make a new Smash Bros. For the Wii. He agreed, and Smash Bros. Brawl started development right after. Smash Bros. Brawl introduced new characters and stages as standard. It added a huge story mode named the Subspace Emissary, where you would team up with characters from the character roster and try to save other characters who were put in a statue form by Taboo, a huge weird looking blue guy with wings. This title has the most things to do besides play the normal fights. There were a lot of random collectibles to collect, a list of every Nintendo game to release ever, a mode where you could play old Nintendo games like Mario and Zelda for a little bit. This game has a lot of content and added third-party characters for the first time. They added Sonic and Snake. This began the series of any character being eligible to being added into Smash Bros. During E3 2011, Iwata announced that Sakurai decided to develop the next entry for both the Nintendo 3DS and the Wii U. Sakurai made sure that the game would have the same character roster, but with minor differences. The Wii U got DLC, a stage builder, 8-player Smash battles, and different stages, while the 3DS got Smash Run and a couple different stages. The 3DS game released 2 months before the Wii U version. The game had more third-party characters like Pac-Man and Mega Man. Cut a story mode for this game, so no story mode. and they don't have as many collectibles and side things like in Brawl. This game has a very good online mode though. The DLC had another big third-party character from Final Fantasy, Cloud. Not much to say about this entry, but let's talk about the newest game in the series, Smash Bros. Ultimate. It was led by Sakurai again. This game brought back every old character and every character that got cut from games, like Ice Climbers and Snake. Every stage came back too. Usually in the series it was normal for the next game to be missing a character from the previous game, but this game's goal was to have everything from the previous games. This game is meant to be a perfect finale since Sakurai planned to retire after this game. It really does feel like a final game in the series with how much content he put in. But let's talk about this game's DLC. This game brought in some gaming icons. It used to be only Nintendo characters, but now Steve from Minecraft is in, Banjo-Kazooie from Xbox is here, Ryu from Street Fighter is here. This game brought a lot of series together in one game. This series is truly great.